back again. 2 videos in 3 years. I'm not doing very good. I have a TSlim now, instead of using syringes and injecting into my stomach. I keep it on a hook because it keeps away from my body, which I've learned through my work and camping with my family, that if you keep this stuff too hot, even against your body at 98 degrees, it will gel up to not work properly. And this is what it looks like. Turn it on top, punch in the code, and I'm going to be changing the cartridge. So I go to my options and I go to load. We're going to go to change cartridge. And it says, in order to change a cartridge, all insulin deliveries, including basal and any active bolus or temperate, will be stopped. Yes or no? Yes. I don't need that. I have changed mine every 2.5 to 3 days. They suggest 3 days, but my body likes to stop the absorption after just 2.5 sometimes. Disconnect the infusion set from your body and press next to continue. I have mine hooked up on my hip right now. I've done it. I'll pull that off a little bit later. Push next, and it says preparing for cartridge. This process takes a little longer. I've learned from other insulin pumps. I'm fine with it though, because I very much enjoy my TSlim. It says remove the cartridge and install an unused cartridge. I lost the little thingamajigger that helps to pop this thing out of here, so I used my case. And then install the new one, which is in the package. Slips right in there. Hair clip. You turn it back on because it turns itself off. Remove the cartridge and install an unused cartridge. Press the unlock button when completed. I'm sorry. Press next to continue, and it will remove the air from the cartridge. And while that's doing, I will use my insulin and get that prepared. This is a brand new bottle. Just got it yesterday from Walgreens. And I always wipe down the top of it before I go into it the first time. And the syringes come separated from their needles. Twist on. And that, my pump says that it's ready to go when I am. And I usually, it has to fill the line, which I have a 21 inch line, and it will use relatively 16 to 17 units of insulin in order to do that, plus another 0.3 to fill the cannula once it's under the skin. And I always give myself extra because there's maybe times that I really want a piece of watermelon and I have to give myself that extra to do that. So I pull about just a little over 1.5 milliliters into the syringe. And I press it in. And I let it fill naturally first until it stops. I pull what I need. And I go past that line to make up for air bubbles. I have to clean out the bubbles. It's not always the easiest thing. Make sure I get all the bubbles out before I go stream. And right here, there's a little tiny yellow or white dot. We're going to go in there, straight down, put it in there. Lid back on. I have 3 kids, and Lord knows I don't want them getting a hold of that. Fill it Press unlock when completed. I've just done that. Press next to continue. Next. It says cartridge changed. Next is make sure the set is disconnected from your body and securely connect the tubing to your cartridge. And that is this. I use 21-inch line. These are the best. I've used a lot of them. I'm trying to figure them out. The back has to be pulled off. Top. And the line is set up inside. It's got a plastic tube covering the top, which I leave there. I unwind the tube. Connect it to my pump. And then I set it down. I don't move it. Excuse me. And I press next to fill my tubing. There's this. And I press start. And it basically tells you how much is going in. For me, it takes about a minute and a half to fill. And when I know it's done is when I see tiny little droplets popping out of the top of that. That equals about 2 drops, and it says 1 to 2 droplets on this, and then turn it off. And it comes out between 15.9 and sometimes 16.8-ish, depending on how well I'm paying attention. So it takes a little while, but it's well worth the time. And I'll just enjoy my coffee while I'm waiting. Back in the box too. Halfway there. So this year I celebrated in February 10 years of being a type 1. Definitely been fun. I just realized too that I've never been in DKA until about 2 weeks ago when I went camping with my family. That's when I discovered that I cannot basically keep my pump on me when I'm out in the hot. I live in northern Florida, but still heat index is over 100, even camping in the shade. And my insulin turned to gel, and because I had never experienced the situation, I was totally confused as to why my sugars were sitting around 250, 300, and by the last day, which was only 3 days, I was right at 400, and I started to feel very sick. I went home, undid my cartridge, changed out my insulin, had to give my pump a rest, basically, and realized what had happened. I never went to the hospital though, because within just a few hours of realizing that I gave myself insulin, and took a break, took a nap, and it fixed itself basically. There's the drop right there at the top. So I pushed stop, and it was 16.4 units. So stopping fill. Says if you see drops at the end of the tubing, press done. If no insulin drops are noticed, press fill to continue filling. And I'm done because I did see the drops. And at this point, I've done the first 2 tasks, and the last is to fill cannula. And for that, I need to have to inject this. And I have been putting them in the backs of my arms because they work well that way, especially with my job. But because we are now having to tuck in our shirts at my work, I work at a bakery instead of a grocery chain. I have to keep it under my shirt so that I can tuck my shirt in, because the line's not long enough to go from my arm to my back pocket. So, and I have my other one right here. I'll pull that a little bit, and I'll switch over to this side because I like mine along the edge. You pull it, I'll push it back. I have to line it up at the bottom to where the tube is at the bottom. And the grips, pull. Sorry, I'm still in my pajamas. And I actually do wipe down a little bit because here lately they've been not doing so great. Excuse my fat, I've had 3 kids. I know it's not an excuse, but at least I look the way I do. Give it a few minutes to air dry. Press it on, hold it tight. Press the 2 buttons on top. Pops in. Press on it. Make sure it stays. Pull it off. The needle stays inside the infusion set applicator. Press the sticky around. And it's all done. With this one, pull it off. It leaves a little mark, but it's nothing to worry about. And it doesn't hurt coming off, but that's just me. I don't feel the pain like other people do. But it's good to go. I'm going to turn it back on. It says fill cannula. So I push next. And I push start because it has the same concept. My cannula is 0.3. So I push start. It takes just a few seconds this time and it's completed. Stopping fill. Now this is my site reminder. It gives me a reminder after 3 days to change my fill or my site. Although my sugars typically indicate when I need to change it, but it's set for Sunday because today is Thursday. I push save it. Site reminder set. We're done with this. I don't always test 1 or 2 hours later, but I just had breakfast, which was a bowl of oatmeal, coffee, so I will test 1 or 2 hours. And so it says to resume your insulin. I resume. Give it a few seconds. We're good to go. According to this, I have 120 units in the cartridge, and that should definitely be enough for the next 3 days. So I'm going to turn it off, stick it back in here, and because I'm still wearing my pajamas, stick it the only place I have a place to hang it. It's good to go. Woohoo. Okay. I'm sorry you didn't get to see my whole head if that was necessary, but I hope you got some information out of this, and it might help you make up your mind on if you're deciding to change over to a TSlim. I recently met a kid at a barbecue over the 4th of July weekend. He's a 13-year-old boy. I'm 30. I've had her for 10 years after thyroid cancer. When I was 18, for 2 years it went normal. Then during my first pregnancy when I was 20, they found out that I was a type. They thought it was a gestational, but the doctor said this is absolutely not gestational, and he was right. I've had it for 10 years, but this kid had only been diagnosed for 4 years. He's 13, so I've got adult onset type 1 diabetes, and this kid has juvenile, the epitome of juvenile. But he says that he has another pump, I can't recall, and he says that he was deciding whether or not he wanted to move over to using a TSlim. And I would absolutely change if you have the ability, because having a touch screen works so much better. There's so many advantages to being able to just split the second, punch things in and stuff, instead of having to roam through buttons and move back and forward and stuff. And I'm not saying that's wrong, because a lot of people really do enjoy those, and that's great by them. It works for their lifestyle. But I'm a busy mom of 3. I have a full-time job, and I have to take care of my home because my husband's gone for a week at a time for work. So I kind of have to be able to quickly do things. My break right now is because my children are in the yard digging holes. 2 of them. My daughter's at the zoo with my mother-in-law. But anyway, hope you got something out of this. Maybe put up another video later if I decide to change anything or something new happens. Have a blessed day.